If you've ever thought about turning your clinical expertise into a course, but weren't sure how to do it without your compromising your practice, this one's for you. In this episode, Darron Goralsky returns to share how he's launching a hands-on dentist-focused training program that expands his clinic's influence and builds long-term value without stepping away from the business he still loves. Welcome.
Thank you for having me back.
Excellent. Yes. All right. So what sparked the idea to create a course and why now?
Well, lecturing is not something that is new to me. I have been running lectures of various descriptions for many years as part of my passion for this niche in TMJ and facial pain. So just for example, I have run lots of in-service training for physio clinics, osteo clinics, dental surgeries, medical centers. I've also been part of a 4-person lecture team that ran a full day course for dental professionals through the University of Melbourne. This was pre-COVID. And I've just actually completed my 5th year of running a 5-hour masterclass for Dr. Damian, who is the resident dentist on our team. He is an expert in his own right, and he runs a 6-day mini residency over 2-3-day weekends. And so I run the Friday afternoon session on day 5, which is actually on day 4, which is a masterclass in pretty much the same content that I have now decided to turn into a full-on 2-day course. And I guess why now? It's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I think I've just taken that leap of faith that it's going to be something of value that dentists will want to sign up for. And that's certainly the encouragement from Damian, is said that the feedback that he gets from the masterclass that I run, which, just to explain the setup of that, it's a lecture followed by a demonstration of an assessment and treatment. And then some of my physio and osteo team then come to the practical component where we teach dentists to do some basic things. And this is just an extension of that, but in much greater detail.
Love it. How do you think about the course as both an educational offering and a way to deepen referral relationships?
Well, we get referrals from lots of different sources, but dentists are our number one referral source, followed by GPs and ENTs, ear, nose, and throat surgeons. So having a dentist attend the course who is going to get some more, like many more skills, I think will also give them a sense of appreciation for the importance behind the role that we play as physiotherapists and osteopaths. And because the course has to stay within the scope of practice that dentists are legally allowed to perform, there's going to be parts of the treatment process that they are not allowed to, and we won't teach them to incorporate in the bigger treatment. So they may begin treating patients and then realize that there's a component that is still unresolved, and hopefully they would then refer those same patients to us to complete the clinical treatment program, I suppose.
Okay. What's the rough structure or flow that you're envisioning for the course?
It's 2 very full days. I've been working on the content for quite some time, and I keep seeming to want to add more. But both days will have a mix of theory as well as practical demonstration and then hands-on skills learning sessions as well. We will also be incorporating into that some of the other modalities that we use. So, for example, in my clinic, we use a specific type of laser. It's called an MLS laser, and it's very effective. And so we will be demonstrating how, when the hands-on skills are not enough, one of the things that we have at our disposal is this wonderful laser. So we'll be incorporating that demonstration into those 2 days as well.
So I'm aware that you have a multidisciplinary team and that Dr. Damian Teo is the head of your dental practice, with whom you've worked closely with like years, decades?
Yeah, many years, many
Many
years.
years. How did this next step kind of come about?
Well, I think it really is a natural progression from the masterclass that I've just run for him, we have a lot of conversation around courses and education, and he really encouraged me and said that the dentists love the session that you run for them. Of course, there's a limited amount we can deliver in that space of time. And he really encouraged me to focus my first course on dental professionals. Originally, my thinking was that I would probably run a course for physiotherapists and osteopaths, but I feel like the dental world is a better strategic alignment for me to begin with this process. And if it's successful, the content is pretty much created for me to then roll it out to other audiences, albeit that if I do take it to other manual therapists like physios, osteos, we can then incorporate the cervical spine and the other aspects that are not currently within the scope of dental practice.
So since this will be your first run, how are you thinking about getting maybe feedback or evolving it post-launch?
Well, we'll definitely be asking for a feedback via surveys after the course. And I've also run the content by uh, Damian and one of the other dentists on our team, as well as some of my physio and osteo colleagues ahead of time, so that I'm going in hopefully with my eyes wide open to what's going to give the best bang for buck, and hopefully be able to deliver something that dentists really feel has taken their practice to another level.
What tools, moments, or habits helped you move the course from concept to draft? Whether it's, I know you had some time with some retreats, believe that you like using ChatGPT,
Yeah.
getting input.
Well, I had an idea already as to content because of the lecture that I deliver is really, really jam packed. In fact, one of the first slides in the lecture, it's a picture of a skull spinning around. And I basically tell the audience that I'm going to be giving them so much information in a short space of time that I apologize for giving them a head spin. So what I basically did was I fed that lecture into ChatGPT, and I explained to ChatGPT that I intended to create a 2-day course, and it was able to very quickly, in fact, read my PowerPoint presentation and come up with suggested structure. And that's what we've used as a framework for the sequencing and for a lot of the content. Post the fact, I had to do a lot of vetting, and it spent weeks basically working on the content to make sure that it's accurate, that it flows well. And as I said to you at the start, I keep finding things that I want to add in to, fill some gaps that I think might be there in the understanding of the dentist. But I'm going to have to cap it at some point because I'm going to run out of time to be able to deliver all this content in 2 days. Just for context, when a new therapist joins my team, this being a physiotherapist or an osteopath, takes us about a month to train them before we let them consult with their first patient. So it's a pretty tall order trying to change perspectives for a dentist that has a very different worldview to how a manual therapist views the body and views temporomandibular disorders. And so at the very outset, what I have to do is I have to try and get them to put aside their dental lens and to start to understand and appreciate the complexity of how the jaw functions, how it functions in conjunction with the neck, how the nervous system plays a role, and so that they can then understand that the approach that they currently use as a foundation for their treatment and clinical decision making is really only one part of what we see as a much bigger picture. So that's the first order of the day, is to try and get them to understand things through our lens. And then beyond that, it's about, okay, so how do these conditions present? What are the techniques that we can teach you within scope of practice that you can immediately start to use Monday morning if you have these patients present to you? So there's a lot of assessment, and then there's a lot of treatment techniques.
I think it'll definitely spark some curiosity where there's continuum, right? Where you have this 2 day and it's like, well, if you want the second part or the third part, and then what are you considering like building it on? Is it going to be something like Kajabi or?
I built the actual content on an AI platform called Gamma, which is
Okay.
an AI presentation tool. I've had to upload a lot of my own photos and images. Although it has AI abilities, I've already got a lot of my own content from my own trainings that I've had to upload. In terms of hosting, because it's not an online course at this point in time, I don't really have a hosting issue.
Yeah.
It's really just delivered live. We will produce probably a printed workbook, which will contain many of the slides and the practical steps for the specific treatment techniques so that they can reference those back. I am intending to have the whole 2 days videoed, and to get the videographer to also come in and shoot some close-up images as well. So that gives me the option of taking that content and turning it into some sort of online masterclass or just a recording of the full 2 days that people can purchase. And I guess at that point in time, I'll work out what the best hosting platform like Kajabi.
Yeah.
There's another one I think called Teachable. There's a number out there.
Like
I'm not sure
Google, maybe.
yet.
Yeah.
School, maybe that's the one. Yeah.
Okay. Good. So you've stepped off the tools but stayed deeply involved. How is this course like a natural step for lecturing and mentoring?
Well, the mentoring in my practice is now not done directly by me. I have clinical mentors. My senior therapists are mentoring the newer therapists on the team. So that does free me up even more. The lecturing I continue to do when asked to by different dental surgeries, etc. So this is a progression, I think, just because it will give me the ability to continue to share my passion, but outside of our clinics in own environment, but to a much larger extent. So I'm always up for delivering lectures, and I love delivering Damian's mini residency. This will just be able to take it to the next level and maybe give me the opportunity at some point in the future to as part of the lecturing, which would be added bonus.
Mm. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how do you see it fitting? Like, I guess this course fitting into the overall brand and like positioning of the.
Well, I think it will help to build the brand because we very much are going to be promoting the practice Melbourne TMJ and Facial Pain Centre, which is a leading practice in this field, and certainly in definitely in Victoria, but I would dare say in Australia as well. There's other good practices as well, but we're definitely up there with some of the best. And I think just building the reputation, certainly in Victoria, where we're likely to get some referrals from dentists who may not have come across us, will be part of building that brand.
For other founders listening who are sitting on deep expertise, what's one piece of advice you'd give them that if they're thinking about turning their info right into a course?
I think the first thing that people need to do as a first step is to work out how you can be very systematic in your processes. And if you were to teach that process to another team member that you've recruited or externally, how would you logically sequence that? And then I like to use the term bottle your approach. Work out what's unique to you and how you could wrap that in a nice box with a bow. And that then becomes your offering, whether it is to attract new team members and say, when you come and work for us, you're going to get a unique skill set. This is what it's going to look like. This is the training. Or whether you're doing what I'm now doing is taking that same training, repurposing it, and trying to offer it to a new audience.
Gold. All right. Tell the audience how they can find you.
I'm contactable either on my LinkedIn, which is Darron Goralsky, DarronGoralsky. Alternatively, feel free to send me an email directly to Darron at melbournetmjcentre.com.au, and I'd love to chat.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate having you back.
Always great catching up with you.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Wellness Growth Show. If today's conversation sparked something for you, hit subscribe so you don't miss the stories, strategies, and insights from the front lines of wellness innovation. If you're a founder, operator, or health leader exploring growth into institutional markets and have a story worth telling, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out directly on LinkedIn or YouTube. And if you found this valuable, share it with a peer or post it online. You never know who needs to hear it. Until next time, stay well, keep moving, and keep building what matters.